This episode of the Dungeoncast is brought to you by Talking Naruto. Hey Naruto fans, there's a new podcast out there for you to check out. The Talking Naruto Podcast. Comedians Benel Jermosin and Lawson Leong rewatch every episode of Naruto from beginning to end, recounting the big story points as well as little things you may have forgotten. If you like Naruto, dumb jokes, and weird tangents, this podcast is for you. Find us on iTunes or podcast.com. The Talking Naruto Podcast will be the Hokage someday. Believe it. Databayo!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Will.
And I'm Brian.
This is a podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, from gorgeous gold to grotesque growths. And today, we're talking about the Githyanki. The Dungeoncast. All right, Brian.
Hi, Will.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
We're doing a race episode today.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute since we've done a race episode, and this is often asked after one, so I figured it was time.
So the Gith, do we want to blanket the Gith real quick? Because today we're specifically talking about the Githyanki, right?
Yes, we're talking specifically about one of the sub-races. I originally wanted to do this where it was one episode on the Gith, but there's just so much to talk about. I had to split it into two.
Right.
So we're going to do an episode on the Githyanki, and then later on we're going to do an episode on the Gith Zerai, which is the second sub-race or faction. So
Githyanki is my favorite rapper.
Nice. I like it. Now, one of the things about the Githyanki and the Gith Zerai is they're technically sub-races,
okay,
but they're the same species. They're the same race. It's not like other sub-races where the difference is genetic. The difference between these two sub-races is completely ideological.
Oh, okay. It's like, or regional, ideological, so not like regional or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, they live in different places too.
I would figure, yeah.
Yeah, but like they're...
So this is kind of like elves? Well, not so much Eladrin, but...
It's quite the opposite of elves. Elves are genetically different. Like high elves, wood elves, and dark elves are different ethnicities
I guess
within the same race.
That's implied by like their stat block, huh? They get different boosts to...
Not just their stat block, but their appearance as well.
Yeah, there's some...
Yeah,
so they look the same.
They are the same. They are the same ethnicity.
Mentally not the same.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ideological differences. With elves, it's ethnic differences.
Cool. So, all right.
Let's get into it. The Githyanki, as I was just saying, are one of the two sub-races of the parent race known as the Gith. The Gith are a tall and slender humanoid race with gaunt features. Their skin has kind of a leathery texture to it, and it has a yellow, gray, or even greenish tone to it. It's said yellow, but I have some colorblind issues, so to me they look kind of greenish. To give an example of the type of color blindness that I have, you know the movie Monsters, Inc.?
Yes.
What's the name of the eyeball
Mike
monster?
Wazowski.
Yeah. Okay. So what color is he to you?
Green.
Yeah, he looks yellow to me.
Oh no, that's not right.
He looks yellow like the one-eyed monster from Monster Rancher.
I don't know what the second thing is.
Never mind.
Definitely know
some
what
people will
Inc.
know
is.
what I'm talking about there. But anyways, so I have some color discrepancies there. So the Githyanki look green to me, but when everywhere I read it said they were yellow, so I'm going to go with they're probably yellow. And I'm just blind to it.
Okay.
So anyways, in my world they're green.
Quick, Will, what color is the bookshelf behind me?
Oh,
that's a joke about production, about post-production.
Indeed it is. Oh yeah, so back on the way they look. They have long pointed ears, kind of like an elf or a goblin or any of the various pointy eared races. One of the most notable things about their look is their face. Their noses are rather small and flat, and they look almost just like two small flat slits, very much like Voldemort. Maybe
Voldemort.
Not as severe as the Voldemort depicted in the movies, but it's very, very similar.
So kind of almost flush with their face. So there's like some pronunciation to their nose, but not really as much as
it's very slight.
Okay.
It like if you were to look at them in passing, it would like upon first look, you would barely notice they have a nose at all.
Oh, okay, nice.
It would look like they don't really have one. Just two kind of slits. So they all uniformly have black eyes, and their hair colors only come in two colors, black or red. So and true red, not like human, like orangey red.
Like primary red.
Like primary
like a
red.
crayon.
Like the red of blood.
Oh, good.
There we go. Which is very fitting because the Githyanki are a very bloodthirsty race, which we'll get into in a minute. Now, the Githyanki make their home in a plane called the Astral Plane, also known as the Astral Sea. And they live in one great city called Tunarath. Now, the cool thing about this city is Tunarath is actually built inside of the corpse of a deceased god.
Oh, I think we've mentioned this before.
We
haven't
might have.
we?
It
Or
might have
maybe we've
been
talked
mentioned
about
in
it.
passing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's a 6-armed god corpse that's calcified over the millennia.
Oh.
And it's just this huge slab of god rock that
Isn't
they
there
live in.
a Nine Hells layer that is kind of like there's like big rib cages or something like that? I remember
In
something similar.
Malbolge, that it's now made up of the corpse in the organs and the flesh of the night hag,
right?
the night
Yeah.
hag that used to be the Archduke there. Yeah.
I retain information.
You do sometimes in little pieces here and there. So yeah, that's where they live. The Astral Sea is, as described in the 5e Dungeon Master's Guide, is the realm of thought and dream. It's like this great silvery sea or great silvery void, with swirling clouds of like white and gray, motes of light that kind of like shine like stars in the distance, or sometimes just right in front of you. And all who dwell on the Astral Sea, they time doesn't pass here. So all who dwell here don't age, and also if you are on the Astral Sea, you don't require food or water. You're artificially immortal here. It's kind of like this
because
weird
time
existence.
isn't passing, so
Yeah.
like you're not aging biologically.
But like time is passing, obviously, because you're moving, so time has to pass, right? So
The link to space time has been severed in the astral plane. When
guess
you say
so.
it's the realm of thoughts and dreams, do you mean like the kind of, I forget if it's like Aristotle or Plato or whatever, but they had this idea that there's basically a different existence filled with just like thoughts that there are no unique thoughts, and you pull from that bubble.
No, not like that at all.
Okay.
I'm pretty familiar with what you're talking about. But no, this is more like this is the realm that mortals can visit in their dreams. You can astral project here, thus the astral plane.
So like Insidious.
I guess so. I haven't seen Insidious.
They
so
pretty
don't
much,
know.
they
Whenever I think about this stuff, I think of Doctor Strange because he does this shit all the time. He astral projects all the goddamn
Oh,
time.
that's cool.
Yeah, so.
Did he do it in the movie?
Yeah, he did a lot in the movie, actually. He astral
really?
projected a lot, yeah.
God.
As a matter of fact, yeah, there's a whole scene where him in the God, what's her name? The ancient one. They right before she dies, they like astral project and they have this whole conversation.
Because she's gonna die right
She's about
then.
to die in
Yeah.
like 2 seconds. So
Needs some
she
time.
slows it all down. Yeah.
Right.
But anyways, back to the Githyanki. So yeah, they live in the astral plane, and I describe what they look like. Now let's talk about like who they are as a people. The Githyanki are a brutal and militaristic society that compulsorily trains their citizens in extensive magic and sword fighting techniques.
Okay.
Like everybody fights well, and training is mandatory.
Okay.
Furthermore, due to their origins as illicit slaves and experiments,
Oh my.
all the Gith are born with inherent psionic abilities. So they're super people.
Cool.
Yeah. They're also trained to integrate their psionic powers into their sword play, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Ooh.
Because that's a huge part of their identity. We're going to talk about the silver swords.
Nice.
They're most known by the other various races of the multiverse as vicious and efficient raiders and pirates of the Astral Sea. So they will descend upon worlds in their huge astral ships, which essentially just look like giant boats with like these fan-like sails.
Ooh, neat. That sounds awesome.
They're powered psionically. That's how they move about. So like
Cool.
Again, psionics is a huge part of anything Gith.
Is it like a group effort, or is it they're like a master mental guy on
depending
board?
on the size of the ship, the crew will have like a certain minimum size.
Like
of
oarsmen?
psionic. Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
We're not really going to get into that, but yeah, basically, if it's a huge ship, you probably need like 10 psychic dudes pushing that ship.
Just
where it
pushing
needs
the
to go.
ship, yeah.
So, so they descend upon worlds in their giant astral ships, and even upon Dragonback, which we'll get into a little bit later. And between their tactical superiority, just the blatant power, like again, they're incredibly powerful combatants. They got psionic powers. They also are good at magic, and also like their surprise offensives. Very few people can stand up to a Githyanki raid.
Nice.
They are a force to be fucking reckoned with.
Okay.
And they're very much feared throughout the multiverse.
It's like when the locusts come and the farmers really can't do shit about it.
Right. And I don't know if this makes them worse or better, but the Githyanki, when they do their raids, they're very methodical about it, and they make sure to leave enough people and resources alive
To raid again
later.
Yeah.
So
Not like locusts.
not like locusts at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Smart
So
locusts.
let's talk about the origins of the Gith and how they kind of got to where they are now. So it's said that the Gith were originally humans, human slaves during the era of the Illithid Empire.
Okay.
And if you want the extended version of the tale of the Illithids, you should go check out the Illithid episode.
Just a quick touch. Wasn't that like a long time ago? Like before the regular?
Yes,
Okay,
very, very long time ago, yeah.
More information I've retained.
Indeed. But in short, the Illithids, in their imperial expansion, they eventually came at odds with an enemy that was immune to their psionic powers.
Oh.
So they had to create a physical standing army out of their thralls, which they had a lot of human thralls. So they spent years and years of running genetic experimentation and infusing psionic power into their human thralls, and these thralls eventually get transformed into a uniform new race that went unnamed for quite some time. It would eventually be called the Gith. So
Okay.
they eventually become the thing that we're going to call the Gith. And
man, that sounds like horrifying.
oh yeah, it's completely horrifying. The Illithids are like space Nazis. It's terrible. So the Illithids get their army of super soldiers, and they manage to defeat the enemy. I believe the enemy was called the Vord. They were like the bugs from what's the name of that movie? The space movie. It's kind of funny, but it's also brutal. With the bugs. You know this movie. You've heard of this movie. I talked about it in the Illithids episode. Not Starship Troopers.
Starship
Troopers. That's it. Yeah. Good movie. Just like that. Those are the bugs that the Illithids fought.
Gotcha.
So anyways, after they managed to defeat the Vord and whatnot, they found that they're controlling their battle-hardened and psionically adept new thralls to become increasingly difficult. And they had to deal with more and more insubordination and more like riots and kind of rise-ups.
Okay.
But nothing enough to warrant like their extermination. It was just, they just became troublesome. But eventually, a member of their thralls was born that had the combat prowess, the strategic intelligence, and the charisma to lead the slaves into like a true and successful revolution.
And the luck to nat 20 the persuasion rolls that get them to let them go.
Indeed. Her name was Gith. This is where they become the Gith.
Okay, nice.
So Gith ends up organizing her people into a militaristic order, and then unleashes a brutal and devastating crusade against the Illithid.
Hell yeah.
Completely shatters their empire.
Cool. So it brought the whole thing down. It didn't just let them escape.
Right, yeah. There's so many of them, and they struck at the heart of the Illithid Empire where things just kind of fell apart.
Ooh.
Which was a happy day, big celebration. But despite their victory over their oppressors and like the fact that they managed to inherit their own planet, Gith continued to enforce her harsh military rule over her people. Now, for some people, they were like, cool, whatever. Like, she got us here. Like, this is how she wants to run things. I'm all for it.
Right.
But there were plenty of people that saw her continued oppression or her continued rule over her own people as the oppression that it was.
I get it. It's like, hooray, the savior. And then this other fool's like, yeah, but it's over now. Can we like be cool?
Can we chill?
Can we chill, please?
And that's pretty much what happens. One leader in specific, a male Gith named Zerthamon, which we'll probably talk about extensively in the Gith Zerai episode, he vocally rejected Gith's tyranny. He was
like, yo, it's time to chill.
Right.
What's up?
He claimed that she was unfit to lead in this new time of peace and called for her to step down. Of course, she refused. And this leads to society to split down the middle completely, and it breaks out into civil war.
Yeah, half of them want to chill, half of them like, no chilling. No chilling ever.
And we're talking about a civil war between two factions of super soldiers.
Yeah, dope.
It becomes this devastating war. And as a matter of fact, the Civil War is so brutal, it actually reduces their already wounded world into an uninhabitable cinder. They completely destroy their home world by fighting each other.
Fitting. So now they're homeless.
So now they're homeless, right?
Okay.
And with neither side victorious and their planet destroyed, both sides end up retreating to their own like separate locations among the cosmos. So the newly named Gith Zerai, which translates to those who oppose Gith, they retreat to the chaotic neutral plane of Limbo. We'll talk more about that in the Gith Zerai episode.
Okay.
But the newly named Githyanki, which translates to the children of Gith, ended up retreating to their various conquered settlements that they had left over from destroying the Illithid empires out in the Astral Sea. So that's just kind of how they end up in the places that they did.
Man, I'm picturing like a space station and like a big sword battle, and they're all like they stalemate each other, all out of breath, like, and they look at the window. It's like, oh fuck, we blew up the planet.
We fucked up.
We fucked it all up.
Yeah, it's too funny. And I kind of picture something like that too. So at this point, Gith, and at this point she had a newly appointed advisor, this powerful female wizard named Vlakith.
A wizard?
Yeah, very powerful wizard.
So they're not just doing psionics and swordplay.
No.
Magic.
Like they are super people. They're incredible wizards. They're incredible scions, and they're incredible fighters. Like,
read the player's handbook.
Yeah,
all of it. They do all of it.
They do it all.
They have dark vision.
They're a triple threat.
They have triple dark vision.
They do. They have
space vision.
So kind of Gith and Vlakith are running the show now, and they're trying to keep the Githyanki tight in hand, but they're also trying to now without a home, they're trying to find some sort of stability.
Right.
And out here in the Astral Sea, they find themselves vulnerable, and they find themselves without any allies whatsoever. So they end up trying to reach out to a few different powers to like see if they can form some alliances. And the details aren't too clear, but Vlakith, the wizard, beseeches Gith to reach out to the Nine Hells, specifically to Tiamat. For whatever given reason. The reason isn't given. I just want to say that. And it really looks like, what's the word I'm looking? Foul play on Vlakith's part. Like we'll get to it. So Gith ends up heeding Vlakith's advice, and she ventures to Beator, and she gains an audience with the Dragon Queen Tiamat.
Oh no!
The details of the deal that ends up being struck between Gith and Tiamat are not told. All that's known is Gith never returns.
Oh,
and instead,
no.
Tiamat sends her red dragon consort. Remember, she has all these consorts.
Right. Gang of just sex pits or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But also remember, these consorts are the most powerful.
Yeah, because she's trying to make powerful babies.
Exactly. So she sends her red consort. His name is Aphelamon. He arrives before the Githyanki with a proclamation, basically saying that Tiamat and Gith have formed have agreed to an alliance, and that Tiamat will, for now and forever, provide the Githyanki with a cohort of red dragons to command in whatever ways they seem necessary. There are a couple rules and stipulations, like only certain people are allowed to ride the dragons, and the dragons can't be commanded to do certain things, and like the dragons get a certain cut of all the money and all that.
It sounds like a book for teens.
What?
What's that one? They made that movie out of it where they ride the dragons.
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon. Or
no, but I guess similar. There's the more serious fantasy based one.
What are you talking about?
Oh man, Aragon.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
that kind of sounds like Aragon.
Actually, I think that book was written by a young man, like almost a child or a teenager.
Yeah, it's marketed as like, next to Harry Potter.
By teens, 14s.
By teens, 14s.
I think it predates Harry Potter by a fair amount.
I think it does, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've never read that book series. But
I know that there are Aragon fans that listen to the show, so they'll comment.
I'm sure they will. But the flip side of that deal is that when Tiamat calls for the Githyanki to assist her in whatever it is that she calls for, they must heed that call. That's the deal.
Cool.
Also,
so we give you a bunch of dragons, and some people can even ride them.
Yeah,
but y'all's doing what I say every once and again.
Yeah, basically, okay. And she has never called them, as far as I know. She's never called them, but basically, I think she's waiting for her big power play.
Yeah,
she's gonna call on them one day. So, So the other thing that Aphelamon announces is that Gith isn't gonna return, and now Vlakith is in charge.
Okay.
This is where, this looks like foul play.
She's like,
you should go talk to Tiamat, and then she goes and talks to Tiamat, and then she doesn't come back, and now I'm in charge.
What's the one? The
Vlakith.
Vlakith is like, hey, I called Tiamat. She said you're cool to go down there, and she was like, whoever you send, I'm gonna eat him. I'm gonna tell him that.
Right.
And like Gith got down there. And he's like, yeah, cool, he'll save you people, but I'm gonna eat you. And she's like, well, I guess if that's what it takes. And then,
and then here we are.
They got eated.
So. This sudden change in power from Gith to Vlakith actually was not resisted very much. Most of the Githyanki just thought, Gith sacrificed her soul to Beator for the people.
Yeah,
which is probably pretty close to the truth. Let's be real here.
It might not be the foul play. Yeah. Despite that, this is what happened. She did sacrifice something.
And maybe the deal wasn't between Gith and Tiamat. Maybe the deal was between Vlakith and Tiamat. Either way.
You better send me someone strong to eat.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. And I think, remember, we know that souls are kind of currency in D&D. And
Yes.
so the soul, having the possession of the soul of the most powerful and legendary Gith warrior is very valuable.
Yeah, like this soul is worth twice as much as that soul.
I would
over
say there. This soul is worth 100 times more than the average soul. Like just in power level.
The material world accomplishments of this soul.
I know.
They make it way more.
Yes. So part of it was that, they just kind of thought, well, like, yeah, she got the alliance. She did what she was supposed to do. But another thing is that Vlaakith, in Gith's absence, had done a lot of leading. Like, she led them to the city of Tu'narath, which is the corpse of the six-armed god. And she's incredibly powerful, so she puts up these great arcane wards to protect them and their new city. And to this day, Vlaakith continues ruling as the supreme Lich Queen of the Githyanki.
Ooh.
So she's a Lich now,
Wow.
and she rules with an iron fist.
So I'm a super duper person.
Yeah.
It's like, let me just lich up real quick.
The whole lichdom thing kind of confuses me because I'm like, well, as long as you're in the Astral Sea, you're already immortal. What was the point? But I guess you kind of get a power boost.
Yeah, man, you get some sick magic and some
so.
Your layer starts to do cool shit.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true. You do get layer actions now.
Yeah,
Good for
legendary
you.
resistance.
So with that being said, and their story being told, let's take a short rest.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the part of the show we're not talking about the last thing we're talking about. We're talking about love. Always love.
Much love.
Right, Will?
Such love.
Such it's almost
the love.
grotesque, like how much.
I don't know if that's the right word.
It's
but
going through my microphone and into my recording system and out of your speakers, and it's love. If you hear me, I love you. Hey, there's some special people I want to love, especially. Lawrence Baker, thank you for upping your pledge. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Lawrence.
And also, Voki Calfayan. Thank you, Voki.
Thank you, Voki. We
really
appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We do a lot of cool stuff on our Patreon. Most notably, probably early episodes. You can hear all the episodes of our show 1 to 2 weeks early, and that includes our side project, Super Quest Saga, which is a live game we play, also available early. There's also a live game that you can get a hold of that drops every 2 weeks in the $10 tier, and some cool stuff for $20.
And there's a bunch of one-shots as well. There's a Halloween one-shot. There's a couple Vault Raiders one-shots.
Yeah. Are those like one-shots? There's like an ongoing...
They're ongoing one-shots.
Yes.
They're multi-shots.
Perfect. Multi-shots. Ew. Okay, so what else do we want to talk about? Well, I think there's something competitive to talk about.
Indeed. There is a contest still ongoing. As a matter of fact, when this episode drops, there will be 2 days left to enter the contest to win one of the 2 copies of Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica that we are giving away on November 20th. And the way that you enter this contest is share the show and send us proof that you shared the show. This can be sharing on social media and then sending us either links or screenshots. You can send us a video of you sharing the show word of mouth. You can send us screenshots of you texting text groups or email chains, or basically however you want to share the show, go right ahead, but just send us proof and I'll go ahead and add you to the list.
Yeah, man. There's multiple ways to enter. You can go and share the show on like Twitter at the Dungeoncast, hashtag Dungeoncast, and we'll see it.
That's probably the most common way it gets shared, but
yeah. Or you can follow the Dungeoncast on Instagram and just like send me whatever.
I've gotten a few entries from there already.
Yes, and I have, I believe, like 5 or 6 more to send you.
Oh, okay.
It's really started to pick up there. Thanks for everybody who's going to follow the Instagram. Yeah, YouTube, all that stuff. You can find us there. Your favorite listening app, because this is a podcast and a YouTube thing. We're a podcast. Mm-hmm. What are we?
We are. We're also a YouTube channel, but our YouTube channel shows our podcast.
Thanks for listening to the show. We're going to get you back to that show.
Let's get back to the show. And we're back.
That's true.
And we're talking about the Githyanki still. So I've told you their story and their appearance and their general notoriety, but let's actually kind of get into who they are as a society.
You told me about that chick that got eated and that dude that became a lich. Oh, they're both female, huh?
They're both female, yes. I feel like D&D has a problem with female authority. I find that all the female authority figures throughout all this lore are horrible people.
Oh, man.
But anyways, moving on. Githyanki society is an extreme military dictatorship. Vlaakith sits at the center of everything and is the ruler of the Githyanki in every sphere of activity. She demands devout and obedient compliance with her will, and she has proclaimed that the Githyanki are the inheritors of the Illithid Empire, and that all worlds across the material plane are their gardens, primed for the harvesting as they see fit.
Neat. So
thus the pirating.
Does that mean that they're taking the seat of the Illithids? Is it like a metaphor almost, or what? Or are they trying to enslave the Illithids?
I mean, that's kind of the theme with the Githyanki, is that they became the oppressors that they fought against, and then they welcomed with open arms the death of their rights as a people. You know what I mean? Kind of like the end of the third Star Wars, where it's like, this is how democracy dies, with Rakshas applause.
You like Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, exactly like that. So anyways, furthermore, she demands that her people hold no gods and worship only her as a deity. I think that's kind of her game plan here, is to become a deity. It really seems like that's kind of where the logical endpoint of all this bullshit leads.
Okay.
Because she has another proclamation that Githyanki who prove themselves as great and mighty warriors will ascend to a great paradise. Essentially a wondrous realm where Gith awaits them. No, she fucking doesn't. Like I said, this is complete bullshit.
Tiamat's love bits.
I know, right? No, this is complete bullshit. What actually happens is she pretends to call these warriors to their ascension ceremony and then absorbs their life force to gain more power.
Oh, man.
And to rid herself of a potential rival, because powerful Githyanki are going to be the thing that might be able to depose her. So she'll just eat them.
Cream doth rise, and she doth eat that cream.
Indeed, yes.
Okay.
So living on the astral plane has its benefits, artificial immortality, you don't need food or water, but also has its difficulties, and it has its problems. So all biological systems cease to function on the astral sea, which means no children can be born or raised here.
Oh, I immediately went to defecation.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're also not going to poop, but you don't need to eat, so that never happened. Like, that's not a problem. No problem.
Yeah, but you probably got at least one in the chamber for a while. You know what I mean?
but it just stays there, and you don't feel it until you leave.
Well, like if you
like, yes, going into the astral sea needing to poop might be a problem.
Yeah, or like being hungry or like thirsty, because then you're just going to be that, right?
And make sure to get yourself in good order before you jump into the astral plane.
Definitely.
Like, without a doubt. Moving on.
Oh, man.
So because they can't raise or give birth to children here, they have to lay their eggs in hidden... they lay eggs. I forgot to mention that. It's not explained how or why, especially since they used to be human, but...
Well, Illithids, they lay eggs or they lay larvae, or what was it?
Illithids.
I know they make a bunch of tank babies.
They have eggs that then hatch into the tadpoles that they put into the tank.
It's probably like they're using their own DNA and stuff to help manipulate the DNA of these humans.
That makes a fuck ton of sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Good thinking.
Nice.
My microphone has attacked me.
So, Will, I think you were telling me how good I did. About
good job.
The DNA thing.
Smart boy.
Thanks.
Where was I?
Killing it this episode.
Killing it. Yeah, you are. Okay. So they're children. So what happens is all Githyanki children are raised to adulthood in like hidden locations in the material plane. They're called creches or creches. I'm not sure. It's Creches. I think it's creches. Creches.
Yes.
Anyways, they're raised in these like hidden away locations, and all Githyanki children are raised to adulthood by an ever-changing roster of instructors to put the children through increasingly demanding physical and mental training.
Oh, shit.
So from day one, it's hit the ground running.
It's so you don't plateau. One instructor can only take you to here.
Right.
You need another one to bring you to the next level.
You're not supposed to have any emotional personal bonds.
Oh, okay. So they're like on the weekly, like...
Yes. Well, maybe not. It's on the yearly. So like you get 1 year, and not only does the roster shift, but those instructors never instruct again in their lives.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, it's impossible to form
a new one shows
bonds.
up, they beat everyone's ass.
Yeah, basically.
To just kind of clear the air.
So the training that they undergo from childhood onward is so rigorous that only the best survive to adulthood.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's like that.
And those that do end up making it to the end game of this are then allowed to take their final test of loyalty to the Githyanki society. And so essentially, all Githyanki must slay an illithid in order to enter their society.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. They then must carry the head of their bounty directly to Vlaakith. She will accept the Gith and then mark the Githyanki with a ritual mark as an induction into Githyanki society.
So isn't this what the plot of Predator turned into?
I don't know, because I don't. It reminds me of Predator, but I've only ever seen clips of Predator movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I know that the newer,
the
more modern Predator movies, not like Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yeah.
Don Glover.
Yeah. He
those,
was only in one, wasn't he?
Each of them, yeah, they were 1 and 2, and then the more recent ones from there, they kind of develop the. Oh. They do something like.
Oh,
this
they're the main. Or they're the main guys in 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I didn't. I thought Arnold was in more than one.
He was in the first one,
It
and then
shows I know nothing about Predator.
and then I think it was Dan or Don Glover.
Anyways, what were you saying?
I get confused because there's a new Donald Glover. I think Childish Gambino.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know.
He was in Spider-Man: Homecoming as the.
He was. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that. Anyways,
anyways, indeed. Mm-hmm. What were we?
You were telling me about Predator movies. I don't know.
Oh, I think they carry the heads of their victims back to be like, I did the thing. I'm dope.
Gotcha.
This is sick. That means they have to go to the Underdark probably.
Yes, very much so. And the Githyanki, they're hard asses. They don't fuck around. So another major issue besides the whole biological function thing when it comes to living on the astral sea, well, is quite frankly, it's boredom. So the Githyanki have kind of become victims of their own success. So now that they're through the revolution and their civil war and they've established themselves as a power, made their alliances, and they've had centuries and centuries of successful and lucrative raids, they no longer have to fight for survival. On top of it, all the training and raids in the world only takes up so much of their time. And they can't even pass time eating or drinking because you can't eat or drink on the astral sea. So
that's good. You get into peak physical fitness, and then you just hang out in the astral sea, and you never have to worry about lifting weights or whatever.
Right, but Vlaakith has to keep her people sated and occupied.
Right,
in order to keep her power secure. So in order to do this, she provides never-ending entertainment like scavenger hunts and festivals and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh,
just constant entertainment.
That's kind of creepy in like its own way.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. Because it's so unfamiliar and strange.
Yeah, we're like constantly. We're going on raids, and then we're going to celebrate like after each round or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
on top of it all. Vlaakith has charged her people with investing themselves into meaningful activities such as artwork, education, whatever. Just stay occupied, no idle hands. That's kind of her deal.
Cool.
And again, since she rules everything with iron fist, everyone does what she says. So, unlike the elves, who through their longevity end up attaining masterful level skills in a lot of things and a cornucopia of interests, the Githyanki kind of have become the opposite. They've become a people that are in constant chase of novelty and of newness because they get bored really easily.
Yeah.
They tend to dabble in creating art, but they never master it. They'll collect treasures from all their various raids and whatnot, and they'll put them up as trophies, but then they'll lose interest in them real fast and discard them.
That's
because nothing has value when you have whatever you want all the time.
Okay, so it's more of like their situation rather than like this is their genetic disposition to do so.
I think, again, since they are humans transformed, I think that this is I could see human beings becoming like this, like in a world where
There's
you have
carryover.
everything.
Then,
yeah, definitely. That's
in a world
my opinion.
where you've got everything, nothing matters anymore.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they flit from study to study, from craft to craft, and they never settle on anything for long. And actually, because of this, Tunereth is kind of a shithole.
Yeah.
Because it gets littered with these half-built buildings, these half-made statues. There's trash and litter all over the place from
people are just making
items.
the same pop song over and over again.
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Imagine living in a place like that.
Imagine living in a world like that. So yeah, Tunereth sucks.
Dang.
But
that's
yeah,
a letdown.
the only art form that the Githyanki have truly mastered,
stabbing,
is that of war.
Yeah, I got it.
You
got
did.
It in
You
one.
got it. You got it in one. So of all the Githyanki practitioners of war, none are held in as high esteem as the Githyanki knights.
Ooh.
They are a contingent of warriors, spellcasters, and scouts that have exceptionally high ability and that report directly to the queen and exist completely outside of military hierarchy. They're their own elite contingent of warriors and badasses.
Like their own SWAT team.
Indeed. So the Githyanki Knights are zealously devout to Vlaakith and are the closest thing that the Githyanki have to religious figures. They're involved in pretty much all of the military's important decisions. They're also they're like the secret police. They're the enforcers of Vlaakith's will.
Okay.
And it's forbidden to keep secrets from them.
So it's like when the FBI shows up in town and they go to the police station. They're like, we're in charge now, bucko.
It's
and
like
then the commissioner's like super pissed about it.
Right. It's like if you took the FBI, but the FBI was also like the Navy SEALs.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. So besides just their status and ability, there are two very important aspects about the Githyanki Knights that hold them apart from the rest of their people. Number one is their possession of the legendary weapons known as the Silver Greatswords.
That sounds awesome.
Which they are. The second thing is the Githyanki Knights are the only Githyanki allowed to become dragon riders.
Yes.
So the Githyanki Knights are the Red Dragon Riders.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
With their silver swords. They're just like surfing on these backs of red dragons.
Yeah, basically. So the silver swords are weapons infused with the psionic power of the knight that crafts them. So each knight has to craft their own, and they infuse their own mental energy
It's
into
like
it.
lightsabers.
Kind of, yeah. So they function as +3 great swords with a special potency versus travelers on the astral plane that have astral projected there. Basically, these are one-hit kill weapons.
Oh, man.
So don't astral project. It's basically all I got to say. Like
you
might get stabbed by a silver sword and die instantly.
Yeah, so if you astral project, isn't it like your soul's out there, but it's like linked? So
Yeah, basically they
body?
stab your soul. The idea here is that like there's supposed to be a silver cord that your soul is attached to that is also attached to your body, and these silver weapons have the ability to cut that cord.
Yeah, there's something very special about anything silvered in D&D.
Yeah, that's also throughout folklore.
Yeah, yes.
Because silver's cool.
Silver's neat.
So these
It's
swords...
connected to you astrally or something.
Right. These swords are precious to Githyanki society in a very extreme way. So a knight will literally fight to the death to prevent the loss of his sword. If a silver sword falls into non-Githyanki hands, Vlaakith will send a squadron of knights to recover the weapon and destroy its possessor.
Yeah, and they'll be fucking riding red dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
So watch the fuck out.
And they're coming for blood.
Yes.
They'll kill you and your family. So yeah, that's the Githyanki. After this, we're gonna get into their stats. You got any questions though?
They're all stat related questions.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Fuck. Let's get into it. I got their stats right here. I'm gonna pull it up.
Show me the stats.
So the Githyanki. Here, let me get a clearer view here.
You can read them to me too. I don't need to see them.
So you have the traits of the Gith, like the parent race, and then the Githyanki get specific stuff.
Hold on real
versus the
quick,
Giths
because we're
derived.
covering this as a race, right? So
Yes.
is this a racial stat block or a monster stat
This is a
block?
racial stat block, yeah.
Neat.
They're
So-
in the monster manual as well, but like it's just a monster.
Is this
There's
like
really nothing exciting to talk about when it comes to their monster stat block.
Okay, so this is a playable kind of thing?
Yeah, this is a playable race.
Neat.
Yeah, this came out in Mordenkainen and Stone of Foes.
Oh, no wonder. I'm not super duper familiar with all that stuff yet. That's
So-
cool.
So as a member of the race of Gith, you get a +1 to your intelligence. Your base speed is 30 feet, so normal. You speak, read, write, common, and Gith. And that, basically, as a Gith, you only get the +1 to intelligence, and then everything else is in your subrace.
Oh, okay.
Another thing that I find interesting here is in most other races, the subrace only gives you the +1 to a score, but your parent race gives you the +2. It's actually the reverse here with the Gith.
Okay.
The parent race only gives them the +1 to intelligence.
Right.
But being a Githyanki gives you a +2 to strength for you are both hyper intelligent and hyper strong.
Nice.
You also have a feature called Decadent Mastery. You learn one language of your choice, and you're proficient in one skill or tool of your choice. In the timeless city of Tuunarath, Githyanki have bountiful time to master odd bits of knowledge. See, this is where I'm okay with the whole idea of you get a choice, because it's baked into the lore, and that's really cool.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I like that. You also get Martial Prodigy, which means that you are proficient in light and medium armor, and with short swords, long swords, and great swords.
Cool.
So that could come in handy, depending
Yeah.
on the class that you've chosen. And finally, you get Githyanki Psionics. You know the Mage Hand cantrip, and the hand is invisible when you cast the cantrip with this trait. I think it's supposed to represent telekinesis.
Yes.
When you reach 3rd level, you can cast the jump spell once with this trait, and you regain the ability to do so whenever you finish a long rest. When you reach 5th level, you can cast the Misty Step spell once with this trait, and you regain the ability to do so when you finish a long rest. Intelligence is the spell casting ability for these spells. So, yeah.
So you're a Jedi.
You're a Jedi, yeah.
Yeah.
Back when, in 4th edition, these guys made amazing sword mages because sword mages really fuse strength and intelligence.
Okay.
I feel like the stat spread for the 5th edition version really lends itself to good wizardry, a good blade singer, or just a generally good fighter or tactician. So,
yeah, I mean, that seems awesome.
yeah. So that's the Githyanki. We'll talk about the Githzerai in another episode because they're completely and utterly different.
Well, I mean, they're going to have the same base story, right? And then
yeah,
at
same
the
base
split,
story, but we're going to get a little bit more into Zerthamon and what his deal was, and then like where he led his people.
Zerthamon, what's his deal? Next time on the Dungeoncast.
Exactly. And with that, I guess we're going to call it a game.
Let's do it.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast.